My entitled sister-in-law tore my ear off because she didn't like my earrings and refused to pay for my surgery. Now I'm suing her for $50,000. Even when I was younger, I tried to convince my brother to find a better, sane woman to marry, but he didn't listen to me. As a result, my sister-in-law has always had a vendetta against me. She hates me with a passion and never tries to hide it. Whenever we go on family vacations or Thanksgiving dinners, I can always expect her to make an offhanded comment about me. She would insult the dress I'm wearing that day, call me an attention seeker because I wore makeup, and even go as far as to insinuate that I hate my family. I can remember times where she called me ungrateful and said that I was only taking advantage of my parents and my brother. Obviously, none of those things are true. At all those occasions, I got the urge to absolutely blow up at her and even attack her physically, but thankfully my husband stopped me. He always came to my defense and told my sister-in-law to cut it out. Thanks to him, I was able to avoid getting the reputation of a short-tempered and violent woman, while my sister-in-law is disliked by the entire family. However, she finally took it too far this time and forced me to respond in kind. It was my brother's birthday and I invited him to my new house. Although I call it new, we had actually moved in over 12 months ago. It's just that my brother never visited because of the rift between me and his wife. However, I really wanted to treat him for his birthday and therefore decided to tolerate my sister-in-law for just one day. After all, there was nothing she could do in the span of a few hours that would make me rage out, right? Anyway, he agreed to come over along with his wife for dinner. On the big day, I couldn't help but notice that my sister-in-law was dressed like she was going to a party with the president instead of just having dinner with family. I didn't make a comment on it and just invited them in, eager to show off my cooking skills. It was only 6 p.m., so my husband and brother decided to watch a football game together, leaving me and my sister-in-law alone. To my surprise, she talked to me politely and even praised my decision to host the birthday party. I was really happy, as I had prepared a cake and a full-course meal for both of them. However, her kind persona didn't last long at all, and she commented about how my earrings weren't matching with my dress. I was wearing a very casual blue gown with green earrings, and didn't see a problem with it. But for some reason, she was very insistent that I remove my earrings and wear new ones. When I kept refusing, she took matters into her own hands by saying, "Oh come on, those earrings don't suit you at all. They're probably just clip-ons, right? Here, I'll remove them for you." I have no idea why she thought they weren't the piercing kind. Before I even had the chance to respond, she closed the distance between us and yanked on my ear with her full strength. She was so forceful that half my ear was torn apart along with the earring. I screamed in pain and pushed her away while covering my bloody ear. My husband rushed in and immediately began attending to me. But the damage was so severe that he had to take me to the hospital. My sister-in-law was so spooked that she didn't say another word and quietly hid behind my brother. I was so much in pain that I kept crying and screaming the entire way to the hospital. I was scared that I would end up losing my ear, and would no longer be able to hear my husband's voice. Thankfully, the doctor told us that my ear would be fine after a small surgery to attach the part that was cut off and making sure there's no internal damage. Now, that whole time, neither my sister-in-law nor my brother called to check on my condition and ask if I was doing okay. But the real problem is that the insurance has refused to pay for my surgery. They are making some kind of excuse by saying that it was a domestic injury or something. I don't really get it. Anyway, after I had calmed down, I told my husband exactly what had happened, and said that we need to make my sister-in-law pay for my surgery. He agreed and gave a call to my brother. I honestly thought that she would have the decency to apologize and agree to pay, but I was wrong. She had cooked up a completely different story to tell to my brother in which she was the victim. According to her, I had yanked my ear off myself and was planning on blaming her to extort money from them. It was a ridiculous story, but my dumb brother was so in love with her that he believed it. Something snapped in me when I heard her false story. If she had refused to pay but at least apologized and shown remorse for attacking me, I would have forgiven her. I had taken her abuse silently for years, but I wasn't going to do that any longer. I decided to make her pay for all her crimes. Now, that was an actual assault and I could report her to the police if I wanted to. But I decided to go to the extreme and instead file a lawsuit against her. My husband contacted a lawyer and we very quickly sent her a letter saying that if she didn't pay for the damages immediately, then we are taking her to court. But she once again told the same sob story, and even hired a lawyer to fight the lawsuit. Thankfully, I have an ace up my sleeve. You see, our house is filled with security cameras, including the room where she yanked my ear off. So we have refutable proof of her wrongdoings. But I'm letting her lie so she corners herself and has no choice but to pay whatever amount I ask for. And since I have that trick, I decided to add pain and suffering and betrayal in the lawsuit and raise the amount to $50,000. This will work because she never called to check up on and never showed remorse. So her own toxic personality is going to bite her back, and I'm going to walk away $50,000 richer.